Yeah, 100%. It feels, I don't know, because we've seen this so often, it feels like I've seen these maps like literally in my dreams, you know? It was just one of those ones. But already the blender draft may be taking effect here, Billy, with the fact that we're getting a tail on Peril. It feels like a while ago since we've seen that. It reminds me of Foot all the way back in Split 1.
Yeah, for sure. I think when I think back to that Foot and Split 1, it was very much, you know, that Astra, Tejo, Fades, the kind of way that they were being able to fight for space on the extremities was really enjoyable to watch. That kind of control that they were able to get just with little bits of microplay was really interesting for me. And looking at the teams here, Trashcan have, of course, decided to bring in a couple of players that they have not played throughout the tournament so far. We have Stonesy jumping in today as well. I think it's something that we need to touch on because, of course, Trashcan have a large roster that they kind of put together for this tournament because of some of the timings and the difficulties that the teams were kind of having to have. So yeah, that's kind of the thing that I wanted to touch on quickly before we jumped into this, is the fact that we're seeing some players that we maybe haven't seen play for Trashcan so far.
Yeah, exactly, and a few names that people might not recognise either. Believe Archangels is anxious if people are looking at VLR and the likes. Viti, a player from Northeast that's kind of plied his trade. Fanger, who was on KC Blue Stars, and Quicks as well, which I believe also was from Northeast. So overall, yeah, people will recognise Stonesy, I think, most importantly from that Ascension run that Job Life were able to do, Billy, and was a real kind of mercurial player, hot and cold at times.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think like the person that I was hyping up before we went into this was Sunflower, of course, the person that would usually kind of be that standard sentinel. So I think to see Stonesy come in, yeah, it is kind of a test of how much can you kind of get back to that form that you're kind of were able to pick up in moments of your career. It's just being able to get back to that point. And I think being able to play in amongst this mix is a really good opportunity to be able to do that. I think something as well that we need to kind of touch on here is looking at the compositions, right? Having that Neon going up against that Yoru, I think is going to be an interesting matchup here. Both obviously quite fast-paced agents in the way that they're able to rotate around the map. And with Peril being so wide, this is going to be important for both teams.
100% is, and we've already set the stakes. Trashcan, a team, a mix, who've been able to rack up near enough €2,000 in bounties by being able to beat teams a tier above, but the opposite number, Eternal Fire, have never lost to a tier 2 opponent in their run so far. So we kick things off with all of Eternal Fire walking up towards B. Banger up above, gets things started. A great entry onto Izzy.
And I think as well, it's that kind of position on this new layout of Peril that teams have to be cautious of. Obviously going to be able to pick one up very quickly. And that does cause a pivot from Eternal Fire, really just wanting to leave Spear up here and deposit him to see if he can catch anything else. But Trashcan, they're aware of this, as you see players starting to buddy up towards this mid space, despite there being alarm bot to kind of hold that space already.
Yeah, trying to play in front of it, maybe worried about the fact that they could potentially re-hit, but creating different pockets of pressure starts to move the players across, but you can see already anxious Archangels looking to try and play in front of it. The alarm bot gives information, but it's a very quick run towards the B site for Eternal Fire, but nobody looking behind him. Allows Stonesy to get a couple of kills of his own and keep Trashcan in front. Fanger holding on to the site, combines with Quicks to let Trashcan get that pistol round one.
And you could see what Eternal Fire were trying to do there, trying to pivot through that mid space, and being able to get that pick as well was really nice. But when you have Stonesy there, the kind of knife at the back that you're not really expecting, is able to just, yeah, I mean, they weren't even really looking. It's a little bit whiff city there, but I think as well, like having Fanger just sat up on that site as well, expecting this to come in, has just been really nice for them. And now it's going to be able to buy up that Marshall, which of course, against no shields in Classics, is going to do quite a bit of damage, Cairo.
It really is, especially on this defence, the fact that you can get this Neon on the line, which already has been done. Needs to be careful, Fanger, though, because of that TP behind the box. Sure, the hip fire is quick, but the trigger finger needs to be quicker. Fanger already getting the first, that TP used, and not quite finding the secondary shot. The repeat good. Right now, Eternal Fire finding themselves stalled out on this anti-eco, and it should be pretty straightforward after that. At least Izzy's able to get one though.
Yeah, it's always good to be able to pick up one, start to build towards that dimensional drift for Izzy, which is definitely going to come in handy in the kind of later rounds that we look towards. But I think both teams kind of desperate to fight for that A main space that round, and of course having the weaponry advantage. Trashcan are going to be able to come out on top. I think Quicks as well, being able to get a couple here is going to help. I think that we've seen time and time again how valuable that Teho ultimate can be, especially on a map such as Pearl. When you are looking to fight for that extremity space too, I think is super important. But looking at this round, it looks as though it's going to be another kind of fight for this A main space. We've seen a lot of Astra Stars propped up towards here.
Seems as if Eternal Fire are happy to leave their Astra towards the A main space to hold on to that, and now priority set towards mid. Eternal Fire, a much more traditional team in the terms they want to move through the map, not looking to default play the meta game here. And already Trashcan have responded to the pressure that the Turkish team have put on. This is just going to be a straightforward execute.
The thing is though, Trashcan are very much aware of it because of the space that they've been able to get on that B long site, but I think this pause from Eternal Fire is just, they're so cautious of what could actually be on this A site because they have no information across the other end of the map. You're almost starting to wonder, have they left this timing a little bit rough for themselves? They're kind of brute forcing themselves through the site now, Cairo.
Yeah, they're really going to have to worry about the fact that there's so many bodies here for Trashcan, but the first entry does go the way of the attack, and it continues to be that case, you know. Very comfortable in the stop and start, playing with their timings, and Fanger with a repurchase of the operator will happily save that and leave Quicks to maybe try and get some of his own here on the site. And at that point in time, I don't think he'll even get back in.
And you know what? I've completely missed that Fanger even had an operator at the start of this round. Is that Quicks has had a ghost on the second and then Sheriff on the third? Has Quicks just bought that for Fanger?
Possibly could have.
That's what it looks like for me, yeah. And he's not even going to be able to keep the operator. Oh, that's actually devastating. That is devastating.
That could be really, really tough for future rounds. And it's not even as if Fanger, yeah, I mean, he's 2 away from his ultimate, right? But you're really going to have to rely on at least getting 2 orbs there. And when you look at the orb positioning, right, in B main and A main, they're like so far in the attacker's kind of port of call that I think like trying to engage and fight for that can be really tough.
Yeah, for sure. We're seeing similar Astra Stars propped up on this main space on A, but Trashcan looking to kind of divert that attention towards the mid. Do have a Vandal here in play despite that previous round being somewhat costly, and yeah, Fanger's just going to be completely shut down unfortunately, but Quicks is able to trade and able to pick up 2.
Yeah, but I don't think that's enough. I mean, Vitty's having to come back into this with just a shotgun. That's the thing that Eternal Fire can do very quickly, take you all out. I mean, Vitty's going to be so late to the party as well by the time that he even realises that it is the A site, Billy. I mean, that post plant's going to be fully set up.
I don't even... I think he's fully aware that it probably is that A site. He was maybe hoping to just get a cheeky little kill with the Bucky sat in mid there, seeing if anyone from Eternal Fire will kind of overstep. And yeah, I mean, he's going to make some progress here though, being able to take out Spear, now left in that 1v2 kind of situation, but it's this Astra post plant utility that he's going to have to be able to try and get through to make this winnable, Cairo.
Concealment!
Yeah, I mean, does have a star for the bomb, which he'll smoke up and already burns through the cosmic pool, or the gravity pool I should say, gravity well, whatever it is, it's certainly not going to matter anyway, because both players from Eternal Fire able to get the, able to lock it down, and we'll end up all even now in the score.
Yeah, I think something I want to see coming out from Trashcan going into these next few rounds is how proactive can they be on the defense, because in rounds like this when they are trying to make plays happen, it's working, but it doesn't feel as though it's happening in a sort of coordinated way, not to sound too critical. But yeah, I think going into this, we are going to see them look to take some of that mid space again. I wonder if there's a high KO flash going over the top here to be able to help Banger pick up some of those kills.
I mean, like, I think you're totally right to be critical, right? You've got basically tier 2 with tier 1 experience mix here, playing in what is now the almost final phase of competition. Unfortunately, this is just Classics and the legs of the Guardian in the mix, and what can they get done realistically? Even trades all across the board, and with Spike down, more information and more bodies ready to fight on the line. Sterben feeling the pressure here, having to get those stars down quickly, low on HP, caught off guard by Stonesy. Spear though, he looks away at the wrong time, the Outlaw not finding what it needs to. You're calling on Skyland to get into position and can't do it. Stonesy, 4K, thrifty round, big for Trashcan.
And this is exactly what we were kind of just teeing up towards the start of that round, Cairo, is wanting to see some more proactivity coming out from Trashcan. And yes, it does take an eco for them to be able to do that. Of course, the hero guarding being in play there, but just a great individual moment from Stonesy, being able to get into this positioning as well, not expected whatsoever. And the awareness to turn around as well and face that player coming through Art on that flank was just really nice to watch. We need to be able to see more of that, though, for them to be able to start to take a lead on this defensive half.
Yeah, I think they need to see a little bit more of that micro playing together rather than the macro. The fake out already been shown, so you know the Teo and the Euro have played on the B side of the map, so at least 2 shown so far. With 4 ultimates in pocket, Eternal Fire surely have a plan for this round.
It's just how much Fanger is going to be able to get done with this operator being able to purchase it back up now, and that dimensional drift is certainly going to do a lot of work in being able to scope him out. The Neon ult's been popped as well. Cairo in that position.
Yeah, unlucky not able to get a kill, but at the same time this is a complete fake. The player's now starting to run through mid, and you're looking all the way at the back of sight at Viti as he hides within Secret. And this lockdown creating even more delay is going to be problems for Eternal Fire. They are able to at least get the spike down, spam coming through, and that's the advantage at least guaranteed. A lot of ultimates burnt through by either side, and it's Trashcan who are actually coming out on top. The post plant, yes, set up, but the players on the spike, I mean, there's still more delay. Sterben! A big couple kills from Art, painting that site red. And still the defuse being attempted. It's allowed Skyline on towards the angle. And at this moment in time, when you just thought Trashcan might have it in the bag, it's a save of the operator, and Eternal Fire's post plant to pull him across the line.
Oh, and I don't even know if he's going to be able to save that operator. Okay, he does just save that operator in the end. And again, another really highlight round from Sterben there as an individual. Yeah. I think if we're going to call it individuals in that round. And I think as well, very costly round for Trashcan, right? You kind of highlighted that there, that they had to invest a lot of ultimates to be able to get into that one. But it was Sterben that was the man that was able to shut it down from the positioning that he had on Art. No one really being able to clear him out there.
Yeah, I mean the fact that like the greatest thing about the Astra on this map is your ability to have global presence very quickly, right? Just obviously your cosmic timings need to be careful, cosmic form timings, and the fact that Sterben's able to play from Art there, get the post plant already. We're seeing in main Fagner denied the operator as the spam can't quite connect on towards Quicks. That operator collected. An Eternal Fire with the ability to now really pressure across the map as the defence is thinly spread.
Looking to just contact up B here, and Viti being solo with the Sheriff, it really is just a case of contacting whatever you can, and actually doesn't even want to scope out any sort of information.
Exactly where you are.
Quicks now though coming across with this operator to hopefully support, and with the neural theft going in, it's a question of with the Trashcan pivot, what read do they have? That first kill coming up from Sterben though should be the call for the rest of the team to be able to rotate, but it's actually Spear here that could be a stab in the back, Cairo.
Yeah, I think right now overall Eternal Fire starting to wake up. The early morning start for them. And yeah, already they look as if they've got everything that they need. Eternal Fire up to 4, and again, Billy, like you can start to see the calling that Eternal Fire have in the game plan as well in terms of their confidence in individuals.
For sure. I think as well, something that they've been able to do well is kind of figure out their pacing through each round. I think that sometimes when we consider Turkish teams, we think explosiveness, running it down, in your face. But I think something that they've shown so far throughout this map is being able to have those slow rounds, not being able to, leaving Trashcan kind of questioning where are Eternal Fire looking to go with the kind of defaults that they've been coming out with. And again, we see something similar here. You have that 2 towards B, that 2 towards A, and one kind of looking towards mid to kind of hold out any sort of aggression that Trash kind of attempt to do on the kind of rounds that they've won so far.
I'm interested though, because I don't know if Fanger was truly seen on that drone. There is a little bit of hesitation in walking through on towards this, and it feels as if is he playing... I thought he was playing Ante instead, maybe it's Skylar, I don't know, but basically there's a double stack there anyway, and you can see the operator still interested. Eternal Fire. A stack of players walking here. The timing could have been insane, but instead, no. The operator back out, can't connect the shots, and now the execute comes through.
Even still, they're really slow in their approach in the sense that they're not sure that they actually want to commit to this. That Astra smoke coming out from Trashcan has been able to buy them time, but that is a ridiculous shot from Izzy, being able to connect that onto Fanger, looking to just jump up onto the box and find any sort of information on long. And it's just a call to rotate on A.
Yeah, it feels like the information economy is perfect, and right now you can see Izzy is hearing all the information towards B, although that fake out clone may have pulled players just back, so there will be a fight to ensue. Anxious, maybe a little bit under fire here as he tries to escape. It's good smokes, defensive smokes to allow Anxious to have a spot to play within. And as he moves into the back of sight, in towards elbow, can he take his timing and find what he's looking for? He can. But and second good, but he's still Eternal Fire stay in front in terms of the man count. But it's up to Vitty to clutch, and you know he's good for it. We stay all even. The operator saved.
Such great positioning from Anxious through that round as well. I think that we got a little worried when that 10 ult was coming through, but the fact that he was able to go unnoticed backside that whole time. Eternal Fire just banking on the fact that that Armageddon had cleared it out and that they didn't have to worry about that space. And I think as well, shout out to Vitty, not just for being able to clutch out that round, but the smokes that they were able to provide for the players. It's like you mentioned, that global utility, being able to help from across the map.
Player standing.
And the fact that you can essentially place as many smokes, well I say as many, you can place 2 smokes as much as you like, as quickly as you can, right? Not like an Omen where you have to go and place it and then you have to go back into your smoke to place it again, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
Cheeky little recall as well if you want, just a little half
true.
smoke, you know. See it there. But Eternal Fire looking to have some sort of mid space now, and I've not really seen too much of this from them, other than when they were able to A-split previously. Trashcan wanting to just kind of clear that out, see what they can get, but with the drone being taken out, doesn't leave them with much information left to be able to fight for this space, and instead having to just play up in those buddies and those parents.
Oh, is he? He's very quick to try and get out there. I mean, it's a trade through utility, but you've got to look at the space right now that's being bought by your Cypher on B site. So deep, Spear, and at this moment in time, Trashcan need to be careful that if they come back into sight, that there could be that time in there, Billy.
30 seconds
I think as
left.
well, you're also kind of worried about the Astra over towards A. Like, this B hit, you are just kind of trying to play it slow to allow some time for your Astra to be able to kind of pivot across here. And I mean, Vitty is going to try and get this ultimate off as well to be able to allow them to come back in. But with Fanger having an operator to retake Cairo, it's going to be pretty difficult for Trashcan here.
it's not ideal, and 3 players have to come out of lane, and you can see Sterben waiting for his time, and he takes it, takes out the operator, and keeps the numbers even, which is most important right now for Eternal Fire. That Astra still buying the attention of the retake, but that doesn't matter. Now Sterben has to hit his shots and does so. The grab well, so far away, but the shot's not. That's a clutch. Another one. Is this just clutch central?
Yeah, it really is. Oh, I had to panic there for quicks trying to get that reload off. That's so unfortunate. But again, the individuals on the team having so many clutch and highlight moments so far throughout this map, Cairo. And I think as well, Sterben was the one that we were kind of looking at as the key component for this site execute on this round. Being able to buy him enough time to wrap around and get those kills, and probably wasn't expecting to be left in a clutch like that and have the rest of his team fall down, but is able to clean up nonetheless.
Feels as if on these eco rounds, the first thing Trashcan want to do is take the fight to you. Skyland, but shoulder to shoulder with his opponent of Banger. Doesn't even realise it, but the point being here is that the defender's economy has now started to take a toll, and Eternal Fire have an opportunity to really start to extend the lead.
Yeah, is he going to be able to open up that B site with that kill onto Stonesy? It means that no Sentinel utility will be up, and it should just be easy enough for them to walk on here. And look at the players of Eternal Fire being able to get this mid space as well. It really is just going to be such an easy B split for them. But what I've been loving about Eternal's Fire's attack so far is all of these added layers, right? You don't just have one flanker, you have a second one being able to hold that mid space too, Cairo. It's just, they have so much space across the map so far that Trashcan just don't know what to do with it, in the sense that they are having to be proactive to be able to get any sort of early information, take up that space. I think one of the rounds that they were able to do that was when they were having, you know, the sniper up on B long propped up, but even still it feels as though it's too risky for them right now because Eternal Fire are just so spread out across the map.
I think like it really becomes like the conundrum of mixed team versus like a properly organised team, right? This is what Eternal Fire or like a properly organised top tier 2 team will do to you. It's like just move you around the map where they need to, they know exactly how to call against it, and just does not get any easier, as we are going to get the ultimates invested into this one. An ultimate to respond to at least deny and delay on the execute, but a quick pivot from Eternal Fire means that they'll go towards the A site.
They do have quite a bit of slow utility here though by having that Astra and Killjoy, and I mean Eternal Fire, they're just going to completely disrespect it, being able to get down onto site and get that spike planted as well, Cairo. This is going to be a 5v5 post-plant retake, which always makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, with everybody up and ready and available, the big thing for Eternal Fire, if they really need it, Cosmic Divide to get back in, and imagine plenty of stars as well. Trashcan get this underway. It is Vitty once again who lights up the kill feed. A lot of bodies in that arc position, and the Cosmic Divide coming in at the right time. The delay good, and bodies trying to fire through. It's not to be advised. Vitty, I know you're good for your shots, mate, but with 11 points of health, I do not fancy you for this one. Eternal Fire can form at least an advantage into the second half.
Yeah, it's just those 5v5 retakes, man. They start to make you feel uncomfortable. And I feel like this map so far really has been the story of the Astras and the impact that they've been able to have, not only in the kind of clutches that they've been trying to win out, but also the utility in the sense that how the ultimates are being used, how they've been able to slow things down with those smokes, with those concusses as well. It's been really enjoyable to watch. It definitely is such a great agent to play on this Pearl. And I mean, that is a very early ultimate to go out and try and guarantee that A main space, and Fanger's going to follow through all the way. I mean, Trashcan know that this has to be a B hit.
Yeah, exactly. And with Sterben still holding on towards mid, it just shows you again the different layering and the reactions that Eternal Fire can have as they've already taken that B site, and Trashcan in desperation use their ultimates. Here comes Sterben, and here comes the kill. in the end, it feels like a very professional performance. Eternal Fire won in towards those playoffs. They want to take it to the Tier 1 opponents, which they've already done. You've got to remember, this Eternal Fire team were the ones who beat Vitality in their debut. They have quality and they show it in bounds. Up to me as we hit the half-time.
Switching sides.
Really good showing from Eternal Fire so far, and I think it's like you mentioned, Cairo, it's just, you know, having that structure of having the core that have been together for a year already, and being able to come into this tournament and, like you say, upset teams such as Vitality and kind of continue that momentum on into today. It's not the worst half-line score. It's definitely not the worst.
It isn't. And I think the point is that, like, when you move on to the attack, you now have the onus on you to move around the map. It's very easy. Like, I always think that, like, if you are at a deficit on the attack, you can very easily bring it back, but it's on your own fault, right? Like, if you mess up. Right now, it seems as if mid is the brawl that the Trashcan side want. Eternal Fire not really wanting much to do with it, as they confirm there is still presence there.
And Trashcan just looking to slow this down, looking at the position of how much space their Astra's been able to get, hoping to be able to get some sort of pick and art here, but Eternal Fire are just so ready for it. You even have the players coming out double doors as well to be able to crunch that mid space and the double up. It's going to be very difficult for Viti to be able to win out yet another clutch that he's been put into, but yeah, I mean, another pistol for Eternal Fire. And I don't want to be too down on Trashcan because of course we've not seen them play Peril throughout this tournament, right? We've not seen what they're capable of, and maybe they weren't expecting to play it going into today.
Yeah, that is the other big thing, right? It's when you think of like a mix, you don't necessarily think of like Peril, you always think of like your splits, your havens, the maps that have been in the pool the longest. That's the easiest for them to like kind of adapt to.
In this round, they're just looking to kind of group towards that art space, and I mean, again, Eternal Fire have already shown that they're happy to fight for this space. Only in the pistol round in this one here now, and that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I think that kind of sums up so far Trashcan's approach to the game, right? Trying to brute force something, trying to make it work, and yeah, you just get stalled out by whatever combination this is.
I think that's the thing though, like you can see the kind of stalling utility that both teams are able to have, and unfortunately we didn't really get to see how great it can be on Trashcan's side when they were on that defense, and now looking at this attack, I am looking at the KO and Neon to be able to go in and make these plays.
Target destroyed.
Yeah, I don't think there'll be many plays from Viti though, and that's going to leave things a little bit difficult on the A side. If you try and break out here, at least there's a fast lane, sure, but I mean that crossfire from Art's going to be set up, and well, there you go, Sterben already making good of it. 2 to the good are Eternal Fire, as they can see the home stretch in sight, but has it been pulled away from them here? As the spike plant will be attempted, the double stack from Art once again, doing what it needs to, and Eternal Fire up to 11. So far, Trashcan have not been able to really make a mark since moving on to this attack.
And it is getting to a point now where it is just, okay, Spear, okay. Yeah, it is just like getting difficult in the sense that you're trying to make things happen, but when you have Eternal Fire playing as disciplined as they have been, I kind of mentioned it in one of the previous rounds, you know, playing in these buddy systems, being able to pair up and have that kind of discipline that they've had throughout the series so far, just shows that the structure that they have in place, and I mean, they're comfortable enough in this round to just leave Spear over towards that B site alone.
Oh, that flash good for Fangler to be set up onto Brave. And that being said, it seems as if Art is a place that Trashcan have really set priority on. don't know if that's just to continuously deny that space of the map, that information. Izzy is the one to try and hold on to and at least get onto the angle, but Skyline elsewhere
Spike down mid.
peeks through mid, gains a pick off the back of it, as well as control of Spike.
Eternal Fire really wanting to maybe not so much get this art space back, but they certainly want to challenge for it, try and re-clear. And being able to do that, Skyline must know now that the players are heading over towards him. Stonesy is able to pick up one there, and I feel as though Trashcan, they're not entirely sure where they want to pivot here. They're so cautious of the fact that they have no control over any extremity.
Yeah. And the worst part about it is Eternal Fire are very quick to take up at least one of those extremities in the form of the Astra, and then the Cypher holds down
30
B
seconds
through
left.
traps, right? It seems as if now it is the Cypher who will have to be careful, as all his utility has been taken offline. And still, you look at Spear ready to take a fight. Izzy on the line. Time getting low and these angles getting stronger because there's nobody to take them off. No more utility.
10
Sterben
seconds
still holds on towards main.
player
And he's
standing.
quickly to deny the spike. There's not enough time now. Vitty has to hit the shots to win the round. But I think that's it. It seems as if Peril could be wrapped up in a little bowl right now. I think that just sums it up once
Match
again.
point.
A lot of metaphors for how Trashcan have played this round, and it's through Eternal Fire's prowess.
For sure. I think as well, like, it's just lack of decision making from Trashcan, or being able to make a decision in a sort of timely manner, having that reaction that you need to have. I think as soon as they spotted Spear on that Teho drone, if they were able to isolate him and swing that as 3, you know, maybe you're in an advantage then, right? You head towards that B site, you know you've been able to open it up. But just finding themselves in these positions where they're wanting to fight so heavily for mid and contest that art space that they're leaving themselves not many options to be able to actually pivot towards a site.
The options right now for Eternal Fire feel as if most of it has been across the map, right? That's the way it's always been spread even. As for Trashcan, they're starting to default heavier towards B. Gaining information that at least 4 bodies are on this B site through finding that KJ in shops.
Bring them down.
I'm still not really sure if they want to commit to this, and I think that Fade Prowler as well kind of just confirms to them that they're not sure yet. I mean, there's 3 here. The Armageddon.
Oh my god.
It's just ridiculous as well. What am I watching, Cairo?
Yeah, it's a brilliant setup.
30
And
seconds
overall, yeah, that is just it.
Defenders
Eternal
win.
Fire have absolutely stunned on Peril, and it just shows you exactly what they can do when given the opportunity to, Billy.
Yeah, for sure. I think that last round kind of just summed up how it was there, right? You're just chucking ult down off of one Fade Prowler, because you know the way in which Trashcan were playing was that it felt as though they were so gripped up on that attack. Unfortunate to not be able to get more on the defense. I kind of thought with the composition that they were running on that Pearl, they might be able to. But who knows? We have Bind next. Hopefully that'll be a nice bounce back for them, especially with that being their map choice, Cairo.
Yeah, well, fingers crossed, right? I think there's going to be a little reset needed, as this is do or die for those folk wondering where we are. It is the Swiss stage, and at the moment it's a 2-2, as all games today are 2-2. And if you lose, you're out. If you win, through to the playoffs. Simple stakes in the end. And yeah, Eternal Fire, a team who have already beat a VCT team in Vitality. They've never lost to a tier 2 team or lower, which shows you just how good they've actually been so far in Project Blender, Billy.
Yeah, I feel like you're really rubbing salt in the wound for someone with bringing up that Vitality thing twice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. Yeah, I think Eternal Fire, fair play to them. They looked very well drilled, like we mentioned. I think if you're Trashcan, you need to bounce back and reset, like we've already mentioned as well. And I think as well, it is just the difference of having a core that have stuck together going up against a mix, right? When we look at these two teams, that seems or feels like the main difference based on what we've seen so far, at least throughout this map. So I'm looking to see Trashcan be able to play better micro, I guess, overall is what I'm kind of asking for going ahead and looking at that bind is just, get those kind of micro. Really like the kind of composition that they came through on the defense, but unfortunately, when you're going up against a team such as Eternal Fire, you are going to be met with a lot of explosivity. But not only that, Cairo, I think it was the macro plan that was kind of impressing us with Eternal Fire so far throughout that first map that we got to see from them. But we look ahead at bind. Now, this is obviously a decent map for both teams. Eternal Fire haven't actually played it this phase, but it's been okay for them so far this tournament. I believe they've only lost it the once that they've played it. And then as well, we look at Trashcan, who have also only lost it the once. I believe they've played it 3-4 times between each of them. So yeah, I mean, it seems to be an okay map for both. I think if you're Trashcan, you really just need to be able to bounce back into this. And I think starting on that attack, it's going to be really good for them. We saw them play it the other day where they had a kind of 10-2 half against, I believe it was Willie G Palace they played. I can't remember the name of the team. It's such a random name. But yeah, I think being able to start on that attack is going to be really good for them, but they need to not let it slip away like they almost did the other day when they moved over to that defensive side.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, for those as well, just to kind of update you, Blender Draft, we do have agents banned, but it's only agents that you have played. So from that last map, these teams can no longer play the ones in the middle of your screen. So that's how we end up with the compositions played. And overall, Billy, this is pretty much on brand for what has been played so far by both teams. Interesting that Gecko gets a kind of high pick rate. Obviously, that's to can I do with the fact that the fade is no longer available, I guess, for both teams?
Yeah, I think looking at the teams' compositions that they've gone with as well, it's nothing too unorthodox or out of the ordinary when we're looking at the map bind. I think for Eternal Fire though, I'm looking at that solo Waylay pick. Usually we would kind of maybe see that paired with a double duelist. So having Izzy kind of on that on his own means that there's going to have to be a lot of heavy lifting from Spear, from Skyland to be able to set him up in the kind of correct way. And then we would look at Trashcan as well. It's pretty much a mirror matchup aside from that Raze, which I do really like on this map, but of course I probably would have preferred to have had it paired with maybe a Fade or a Teho here, but with them playing those agents on the previous map, they've kind of had to go down that Sky and Gecko route as well, Cairo.
Yeah, they have, and I mean, obviously the Gecko good for mid-rounding a lot of the time, especially since we've moved into this new form of Valorant with the replenishables not coming up as often. Eternal Fire already begin to respect the utility sent towards them on the B site and actually have moved 4 bodies over here just through 2 players alone. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Izzy, who's being proactive through showers at the moment. As Trashcan begin to embed themselves on the A site.
This is the kind of proactivity that we like to see come out from teams, and although Izzy isn't really going to be able to do much with that positioning right now, I mean, Trashcan, they need to be able to re-clear showers at some point, and that is what Anxious will look to go and head towards doing. It's just a question of Izzy being able to take the timing. It's windy.
Yeah, it's not ideal at all. Well, at least the rest of Eternal Fire are here. There is a pop flash. Oh, prepared, but it did not work out. And that's allowed Eternal Fire out. Anxious might have just unlocked the door for Eternal Fire to get onto the spike. The wingman, the one to work on. And Vitty just not quick on the mark. That is so unfortunate for Eternal for Trashcan, but very fortunate for Eternal Fire.
Super nice for Eternal Fire to be able to clear those players out so quickly as well, I have to say. The speed in which they were able to come back into that site, and this is the value of the flashes that we're seeing from both teams, unfortunately. Not for Trashcan in that situation, and I mean, I almost thought Anxious being able to have that showers control would have kind of set them up to be able to win out that pistol round, Cairo, but I guess we're really seeing the value of the Gecko come through. Like you kind of mentioned at the start of this map, having that replenishable utility as well, with the meta that we're kind of moving towards and how often Initiator utility is coming up, the frequency of it. I think being able to pick up that utility on the Gecko is really valuable when you're looking at Initiator options.
the Dizzy gaining value and Finals entry does look good. He's able to get an upgrade, but Dizzy needs to be careful as this is a very fast take. And Trashcan have even found themselves an advantage in this post plant, but the retakes so far have been pretty decent overall from Eternal Fire. Once they get settled, good utility on the Mob, and now that's control of the spike. Already numbers back in favour for Eternal Fire. This did look worrying, but with Vitty identified through him using his molly, Eternal Fire, I don't know if they've got enough time.
They're
No, they
chilling. The Brim Molly had me questioning for a second, but they're chilling. And honestly, I don't even know if that Brim Molly's from that round. I didn't pay attention to the economy enough for them to have some stingers coming into that round as well. You know, they 4-spot and they still even have a molly at the end of the round as well. It feels as though it was a big investment that unfortunately didn't quite work out for them. I mean, Eternal Fire again, just being able to come into these sites so quickly and so well drilled as well. Happy enough to be able to play retake within those first couple of rounds on the A site. It's just a question of how often are they going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, I think like that's the big thing about Trashcan, is that they need to be wary about how quickly we are seeing Eternal Fire just pop off. As they instead have been looking to molly and just stop anybody from Trashcan moving forward. Creates a little bit of delay.
They are going to have to expend quite a bit of utility just to be able to pop through that Viper Orb. But as we mentioned, Gecko is going to be able to retrieve the Dizzy there. And again, Eternal Fire just so disciplined, just holding out and happy to allow Eternal Fire to be...
Hitting the brakes.
Happy to allow Trashcan, sorry, to take that shower space. And I mean, Izzy is going to pick up the first one, making this very difficult. It does feel as though Trashcan again, maybe trying to have to brute force their way into a site, which with this kind of economy, maybe, but not like that.
Yeah, I think like it feels as if Trashcan have looked at their composition. Gecko, Sky, a lot of flashes, a lot of ability to really pop off, and at the moment, I just feel as if it's the wrong game plan. And I don't even know if the mid-rounding, like long default, will work for them either. They do have the Viper, they do have the Brimstone, but Billy, like if you try to default against an Eternal Fire who are very proactive, they're going to find themselves in a difficult spot.
And I mean, Eternal Fire are kind of anticipating this, right? They've got 4 players propped up towards that B long.
Poison orb emitting.
This is something. This is playing with confidence, Cairo, if you ask me. Like just being able to send 4 players on B and leave your Viper solo anchor on A, knowing that Trashcan have been trying to force their way onto that site every round so far. And I mean, even the Gecko ult's been invested there with no gain.
Although you can see right now the Gecko from Eternal Fire stuck in that corner in the TP without any way out. Now there's a player identified on site. This is very topsy-turvy so far. Continues to be one much Trashcan are going to take full advantage of that. Spike going down now.
Spike planted.
We look at Spear to give us a clutch. But he needs to get his gun out very quickly, or yeah, this is going to be Trashcan's first, and maybe a little bit too overzealous there, Billy, perhaps?
Yeah, I think so. I think a bit of an overcommitment from Eternal Fire as well to just burn that Gecko ultimate. You're able to pick up that first blood, but then it's this showers crunch that they attempt to make with no one really on the other side to be able to have that crunch, so to speak. They kind of forced their way through that TP. Knowing that Trashcan have been fighting for that shower space. Trashcan happy to have one on the board, considering this has been their stronger side whenever they have played this map.
5 bodies are outside B for Trashcan, and this is with the Seekers invested. should have everything that they need. Brave get one more in the scoreboard, as you can see, and I mean it seems so far Eternal Fire to the good. So it feels like Trashcan are having everything thrown in their face. Try and stop him, looking for something bad, but that just allows Eternal Fire onto the angles. That spike down, and Stonesy. Yeah, I think this is more of a save. Really, with 50 seconds on the clock, though, that's a long time to wait.
Yeah, they're definitely going to try and hunt Stonesy down here, I reckon. And it's just a question of who they send towards him. I didn't quite get to see who was closest to their ultimates here to hopefully start to build up those orbs.
30 seconds left.
But I feel like it was just a kind of similar game plan to the previous round for Eternal Fire there, right, Cairo? In the sense that they left that Viper kind of solo anchor towards A, kind of look to see what they can get on that B long space, and then just respect it if they need to. Oh my, this
Oh.
10 seconds left.
I mean, with so much money in the back pocket, Eternal Fire are not really going to care how much is left in the server, right? They just want to get rid of all those rifles. And it's like you said, yeah, I 100% agree that at this moment in time, like the way we always describe it is, you've got to ask questions of the defense. Are you good enough to hold against our fast pushes? Yes. Are you good enough to deal with our defaults? Yes. It feels as if at this moment in time, Eternal Fire have an answer to everything that Trashcan want to do.
Trashcan again, opting to see what they can get on B, and it's a little bit different for Eternal Fire this time round. They are going to prop the Whaley up towards that showers space, and with the buy from Trashcan, I guess you're kind of just looking to proc those questions like you mentioned, Cairo. What can you actually get out of them? What information can you find out on this round that's going to help you in those later buy rounds? And unfortunately for Fanger, it's not going to be an awful lot.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. With pistols, we're expecting Eternal Fire for this lead for them to grow and grow. And you look how deep they are on either extremity. They know that it's either going to be hookah or it's going to be short. And with the noise heard from short, can only be one thing. The wingman looking to clear out towards the site. And the wingman denied, so Spike now in no man's land. Trashcan need to face up against an operator. There's a phantom. There's so much to try and deal with. As the players burst out of the smoke and leave just anxious at the back of sight with a ghost. He won't be haunting much. The exorcism of Eternal Fire is successful.
And we didn't expect too much from Trashcan that round, with the kind of buy that they came into it with. I think as well, though, something that they've done some rounds but not others is the lack of awareness of that shower space as well, and the value that Eternal Fire are able to get from it. I mean, we see Izzy propped up with an op that round, and it's not as though Trashcan don't have utility to be able to scope these things out. They've got the Sky, they've got the Gecko as well. There are things to be able to help with this, but it's a fast pace coming in from Eternal Fire this round. Previously, I've played so disciplined on their defense so far, and looking to push Trashcan right back with that Whaley ult.
Yeah, I mean, you can look at Trashcan and the line that they're holding as well. It just goes to show how quickly. Oh no.
Ooh,
That's
didn't
worrying.
clear here, and he's going to be able to capitalise 3 off
Spike
the back
down,
of it,
attacker
Cairo.
spawn.
It's these
Yeah.
little fundamentals,
spike.
man, that we're talking about with Trashcan.
It just shows you just again how quickly things
Last
can turn
player
around.
standing.
And Izzy's operator doesn't even allow Fanger to get onto the short angle, so Quicks with Spike in the back pocket is aware that there's an operator in play, doesn't realise though how worryingly the danger is. So close to him. I think at this point in time, it's as simple as that. A flawless round, 6 in a row. Or 6 in a row. 6 is what they find. 1 away from an advantage confirmed in the next half.
And I think that's so beautifully played by Eternal Fire as well, right? You know that Trashcan, they've got their buyback, they're going to be on a rifle round. Do you know what? Let's invest this Waylay ult and make it difficult for them. Push them all the way back. Put some fear into them that's going to break their economy yet again, Cairo, where they're just not being able to string up any rounds. I think this pace change from Eternal Fire that came out was so nice to be able to confirm that lead potentially.
Fire in the hole!
I get. Oh, okay. Showstopper, right? This is maybe what we're looking for, but a team. I don't know if that was a team flash or what it was, but whatever it is, nice shot. And then you can go out and flash the player on long. Trashcan get out onto six, somewhat successful. But Brain getting a couple of his own, and Sterben to follow up. It's just a complete demolishment on site, Billy.
With 2 ultimates committed from Trashcan as well, it almost feels like, I don't want to say they're throwing things at the wall hoping it'll stick. It was nice to see that kind of aggression and pace change come out from them with the buy that they were on. To invest 2 ultimates though, it's almost like a plea of desperation at this point when we do look at the scoreline and consider the results that they've been able to have on their attack side in the previous games that they've played on this map, Cairo. It's starting to become a bit worrying that they almost might let it slip away from them.
Yeah, it just doesn't get any easier at all. And like, again, we're hoping that like at some point it's going to turn around, but it doesn't feel like it's going to at any point. I mean, the ultimates start to come online quicker than they are for Trashcan, just because the kills are going Eternal Fire's way. And that ultimate economy being so monopolised by Eternal Fire makes it difficult for Trashcan to do what they want to do. An attack which is struggling to get spikes down, and that economy now working against them as well.
We're going to see that ultimate invested, which pushes these long players up towards that garden space, but it's actually Trashcan that's able to come out on the better half that way. Spear is in fact going to be spotted in the corner this time round, Cairo, and that volley is going to try and clear him out, and somehow he's still alive.
Yeah, I have no idea how he's still alive.
Left.
And Sterben no longer alive, so an escape now on towards the A site. A 2 versus 3 for Trashcan to try and work with here. And with the Viper's pit down, is this doable to retake into?
I think if you look at Spear's HP as well, you really are just relying on Izzy to have some sort of hero play, some sort of individual moment to be able to keep this momentum that Eternal Fire have been able to pick up. It's a question of, do they go for it? They have plenty of money in the bank.
They do. I bet you're wishing you had the orbital strike that was used earlier, or any of the ultimates at all. As he's moving through this the pit with just a shorty, allows Anxious in the end to win it out. So Trashcan at least able to double up the round count, but there's not a whole lot left in this half.
I think a couple of times we've seen Eternal Fire maybe get a little bit too confident with those ultimates, and fair enough if you're having this kind of a lead. But momentum can shift, and I think if you're Trashcan, you're happy to now have a couple on the board. You are going to buy an operator up into this round. Don't think that that was recovered from the Viper's pit of the previous round. But again, look at this stack up from Eternal Fire. They've got 4 over towards this B site, because they know that their retakes on A have been the things that have been working for them other than the previous round. And Sterben really needs to be careful here, because there's a full 5 players behind that Viper wall.
Yeah, really. The Seekers now start to move towards CT, identify at least one of the players, but look where the rest of the pack is. It's going the long way round, so it might expire in too little time. So a 5 versus 5 retake with so many ultimates in Eternal Fire's favour.
We're going to see the Sky ultimate popped as well, and the Waylay is able to just dash in, see how much she can get, but with the Viper Orb and the Pulse Plant utility that Trashcan have available, both of the Gecko ults going to be invested. It's just chaos on the site at the moment.
And it's Eternal Fire, all the kills going their way, and the defuse as well. It's unfortunate. Eternal Fire now waste through Trashcan's reserves and bring themselves up to 8. Billy, the question I've got to ask you is 4 enough? That's the only number that Trashcan can really reach.
I think it's really difficult when we consider how they were playing their defense on that first map as well. It's the proactivity that we were looking for. I feel as though this attack has been far from probably what they expected, given it has been the more dominant half from them whenever they have played it. You know, I've mentioned that a couple of times now, but it's a question of whether they can even get up to the 4 mark as well here, Cairo. I mean, Eternal Fire just really look as though they want to be able to secure that spot in playoffs tomorrow.
It's an important one.
Screen down.
I mean, already Eternal Fire have cleared out all of B long and know that this has to be A. You can see already the bodies starting to make their way there, a flash in towards mid. This now is an easy decision for Eternal Fire to make. 9 players on this side of the map. Make that 8 as Fanger makes his entry into the site. Is he so quick on the operator? Looks for more, but can't quite hit the mark. The players making it Eternal Fire's site, as it always seems to be. Number 9 is what Eternal Fire will get. Trashcan with 1 more round to potentially get a lifeline in the second half.
And again, it's this A site. It's the information that Eternal Fire have without really even having to do an awful lot at all, I think it's fair to say, Cairo. They've been so confident in these A retakes, so well drilled. The protocols are there for the team, and if you're Trashcan, I feel as though you've tried every avenue.
Don't miss me too much.
Yeah, I agree. I feel as if at this point in time, there's not a whole lot left in the playbook. I think at any point, any page left unturned, Eternal Fire probably read it. And you look here, they've already read into this one. Walk down, Trashcan unaware, and if you try and re-swing this, Izzy's already on the line. He gets the pick. Fagner trying to catch players off guard, but with the ultimate used, does get 2 of his own.
Trashcan gonna call to come over here now, but it is Izzy that is still the threat here. Looking to try and get another cheeky one, but Skylar is there to support. Able to pick up 2. And again, it's Fanger that's been trying to do everything in this round so far, Cairo, but Eternal Fire, they're going to lead quite dramatically at the half with a 10-2 lead.
Yeah, and this is, again, something that has arrived after the coin the term. This feels like the end zone that we're currently in because of the fact that right now, if you find yourself on just a meek 2 rounds, maybe even 3, a pistol round could basically mean your demise. Your economy state not great, you're kind of forced into decisions you don't want to make. And yeah, at this moment in time, Eternal Fire have done everything that they need to. And they impressed us last time with how they were able to attack and call on their attack, Billy. I wonder how good their bind strat book is.
I just think maybe it's a recency bias thing, but when we look back to their other game the other day, they were 3-9 down starting on that defense, and now being 10-2 down moving over to the defense, it's... I want to be positive, but it's looking a little bit bleak, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I think like it's hard to be positive when the team that you're watching isn't giving you any positives, right? It's not as if me and you can be like, well, at least the B sites were good. At least Fanger's gaining good entries. I mean, Fanger's getting entries here and there. It's not as if it's been a consistent thing in which Trashcan have been able to use, but we'll look at this pistol round, and that can feel coin flippy at times, but when you have players like Izzy being able to pop off like they have, Eternal Fire playing together like they have, it ends up just continuously being Eternal Fire trading down to success, and they are in the home straight now on 11, just 2 rounds away from a series win.
And I really like the idea coming out from Stonesy there to be able to play around his orb, hopefully be able to pick up a couple, but it's unfortunately just not quite enough. You have the raw talent, the raw firepower, the mechanical gifts that a lot of these players on Eternal Fire have to just take those fights, win out those fights. And Brave really has been the star of the show throughout this map so far.
Toxin screen down.
And if you're Trashcan, you really are. I mean, look at the players scrambling across the map, even just now. Looking to hopefully be able to find something.
Both shots truly connecting. It's Eternal Fire combine their forces and look to walk through the two avenues into the site. Fanger, though, maybe within the corner, can find something. The players don't really clear him, but unfortunately, it's just not been his day, like it's not been Trashcan's. That spike can go down through the wingman, and Anxious at least able to gain Showers back. But it seems as if, again, the stalwart Eternal Fire post plan and site take just cannot be defeated. We are looking at 12 for Eternal Fire as they are a class above.
Match point.
They really have come in today and shown that despite having a day off yesterday, they really want to fight back and be able to go to that playoff stage in Phase 4. And they've just made it look easy for them in the sense that they just look so well drilled, like we've mentioned before, Cairo. I mean, it's been a really unfortunate map for Trashcan.
Yeah, I mean, like, we saw map 1, you're thinking, you know what, at least the first half it looked good. Map 2, hopefully they can come back into this, shows what they're made of. It's their map pick, but at the end of the day, Eternal Fire have just looked so excellent. At least this round, though, Trashcan can give us something to hope for, considering the fact they still have Lamps control and Showers control as well. But peaks being taken and given away to Eternal Fire allows them back into this, down to a 2 versus 2 once again. Every single time, I don't know how Eternal Fire do it, but just through sheer mechanical brilliance can bring themselves back on side. So we look at Spear. Can he clutch up? The answer is no. It's Vitty with a shotgun, brings us across and keeps him alive one more round.
Done here.
Oh my god, I did not think that that was going the way of Trashcan, the way Vitty was jumping across with the judge there. Oh, I think good on them, but it's almost like you have to start asking yourself, is it too little too late, Cairo? I mean, they were good to be able to pick up this round, but even then, that got a little bit too close towards the end. I reckon if the Sky is on different HP there, that could very much go a different way. And the buy, it's still not even fixed.
It's not for Trashcan, and I mean, I guess the saving grace here, Trashcan win, deny a spike plan, perhaps Eternal Fire don't have a buy in the next one, and I like this. The defense with a bit of confidence have taken B long, but again, quick reactions on towards the A site, Eternal Fire go, and they'll have time to set up this post plan.
Stuck here now when we look at it realistically. They've been able to take Showers control with that Gecko ult, and any idea of a flank is going to be completely shut down by Skylin. That's last players for Trashcan already gone, and now Vitty
Taken down. See ya.
Yeah. Oh. It has been a class above for Eternal Fire, but it's also a phase above.